material decisions at the base. So the problem that we're solving is a few-fold, but there's a lot of documentation fatigue. If you guys are familiar with the architecture industry, I'm sure you're familiar with these documents. Things change hands dozens of times before a building is actually worked on, and it costs a lot of money and a lot of headaches to get that documentation over the finish line. So some of what we do is we focus on material intelligence. So we build specifications, which you guys will get to work with tonight. We build in performance data, sustainability data, and company standards. And what this allows us to do is produce that documentation, have better provenance of that documentation, and the change of that documentation over time, and get to save architects a lot of money and help them make better decisions. I'll hand it over to Raymond to introduce structured AI.
Awesome. Everyone.
Ooh.
Hey. So firstly, thank you for making out tonight on a probably very busy Monday evening. We think this will be great. We're excited to see what you build. I think Nolan will get into this a little bit more, but we've opened up our platform's capability so that you can use this as a starting point to really get a lot done in a few hours. So structured AI, we're a AI-powered QA/QC platform. So we do quality control, quality checking. So I guess like to set this in, who's seen the fires the building news? Like, there you go. Fires the building somewhere in Manhattan, maybe collapsing. I don't think it's collapsing anymore, but it happened because it was an old building. They were trying to design a new building on top of it, and something happened in the quality checking step of making that correct. So that's the really bad case of what happens if these errors slip through the cracks. Usually it just costs a lot of money to fix later down when construction happens. So really the problem we're solving is right now a lot of these quality checking processes are being done by a human being who has like a 200-page drawing set, a 2,000-page spec sheet, having to go page by page, you're nodding, having to go page by page to review very mundane details to make sure they will match. And especially with, I think, the BIMification of everything, there's now even more information that humans are just going through and they don't have time to do everything. So I mean, at a high level, what structured AI does is we started with PDFs, so we have a pretty complex, like, I think pretty advanced algorithm that pulls out a lot of the visual data from drawing sets, and then really using that as context to help the agents to do pretty complicated tasks in terms of reviewing the drawing packages. We've recently expanded towards the BIM model itself, which unfortunately is a bit out of scope for tonight because Revit hates people doing stuff with it. But the really cool part is now we're flagging issues, we're flagging stuff that are code violations, inconsistencies, and you can actually now try to have AI agents fix a lot of these smaller issues within the software where you're making the model. So yeah, I think that's a quick what structured AI does. Thank you everyone for being here tonight.
So the plan tonight is we have two tracks, an engineering track and a creativity track. And the goal is to build an agent that catches errors. So we will give you some documentation, some drawing sets, some schedules, and there's been errors planted in those. So really your goal is to, as effectively as you can, catch those errors and report back on them. We'll share a GitHub repo that has more information about the schema, and then we have a runner where during the event you guys can go and check how your agent works. You'll get to see a test set to kind of go and tune. You won't know what errors there are, but when you go and test it, you'll be able to see how many you've caught. And the idea here is that you get 3 chances to test against that. We'll give you an open router key, and then you can go and develop against that practice set. When you feel ready, you get one final run. So this is a set you haven't seen, and your agent should be able to generalize and go and find some errors there. We've got a leaderboard, so whoever finds the most errors, it doesn't have to be all the errors, is going to win. And then we've got a couple rules here, like a 10-minute timeout. We have Python and JavaScript environments available. If you are doing kind of the creative track, you can use any AI tool you want. We'll have some secret judges kind of come around and talk to you. And whoever has the most creative and effective solution is going to win in that track. So hackathon.acelabusa.com. We'll have lots of information. And then I'll also show you guys, there is going to be, so you can come in here, register your team, create teams of however many you want, and get some API keys and such. And then AceLab USA slash this AceLab X Structured AI Hackathon is a public repo. All of the rules are in here, so you guys can come in, clone this, and get started. So 8:30, we'll try to do some final validation runs, and at 9, we'll do some awards.
Just checking, does everyone know how to use Git? Just checking.
If you come in here, we'll be around to help, but
Just seeing confused faces. That's right.
if you're on that creativity track, there's some documents here that you can click into in assets. So you don't have to use Git for that one. But yeah, feel free to get started.
Okay.